I was called to be her voice, and when Hecate calls, you answer. I don't claim to be all knowing or a prophet. I'm simply here to honestly share my journey, filled with hopes, doubts, and small victories, in the hope that it might light a path for someone else. My deepest wish is to create a safe and welcoming space for people to practice their craft, no matter their beliefs. I do this with all of my heart, feeling gently led and encouraged by Hecate's guidance. My commitment is rooted in gratitude, love, and a sincere desire to support others authentically. Recently, I began reading Keeping Her Keys by Cindy Brannon and The Way of Hekate by Thalia Thorne. Both books offer initiatory journeys into the practice of Hecatean witchcraft, which has become my chosen path. I'm following an accelerated approach to the Way of Hekate by completing 9 rituals over 9 days, while also beginning the year-long devotional path recommended in Keeping Her Keys. So far, I've completed 3 rituals from the Way of Hekate, standing at the crossroads, cutting the cord, and a dream of descent. Each one is simple yet powerful, designed to initiate you onto the Hecatean path and deepen your connection with both yourself and Hecate. Today, I want to focus on the ritual I completed just last night, a dream of descent. Before this ritual, Thalia instructs you to create what she calls a shadow work dream sachet. I spent a few moments making mine by adding herbs, crystals, and a psychic oil that I'd bought from a shop here in town into a small cloth pouch. I didn't follow the herbal mixture exactly as described because I was missing one ingredient, so I made a substitution. Specifically, I used wormwood instead of poppy seed. In the original recipe, poppy seed is intended to support emotional processing in dreams. Wormwood, on the other hand, is associated with release through sudden realization and truth. This substitution becomes important when considering the outcome of my ritual. Traditionally, the sachet contains mugwort, lavender, and poppy seed with a single obsidian chip. Mugwort opens the gateway to visions, lavender helps calm and protect the nervous system during sleep, poppy seed encourages gentle descent into the subconscious where symbolic or prophetic dreams can arise, and obsidian serves as a steady protective anchor. Altogether, the original blend encourages deep, receptive dream work. My version shifted that energy toward clarity and active awareness. By replacing poppy seed with wormwood, the blend moved from soft dream immersion to sharper spiritual perception. Wormwood cuts through the fog and reveals what needs to be seen. Mugwort still guides the dream journey, lavender maintains the calm, and I added a second obsidian chip to strengthen protection and grounding. The psychic oil I used, infused with herbs and labradorite chips, amplified intuition and energetic sensitivity. The result was a sachet geared less toward passive dreaming and more toward vivid insight and conscious spiritual awareness. While creating the sachet, knowing I would perform the ritual shortly afterward, I also burned mugwort. This helped thin the veil between waking and dream states and consecrate the sachet more strongly for dream and vision work. Once the sachet was complete, I began the ritual itself, which was a meditation intended to meet your shadow self. I laid down on my bed with the sachet resting over my heart center. I called upon Hecate in my preferred way, first bringing my hands together at my heart and saying, "Hail Hecate, guide," then placing my left hand at my side, palm facing the earth, saying, "Hail Hecate, guardian." Finally, lifting my right hand upward, palm open to the sky, saying, "Hail Hecate, gatekeeper." Then I waited until I felt her presence. To say I was nervous would be an understatement. I've never shied away from shadow work despite years of practicing witchcraft. I have also been in therapy for over 5 years, so inner work is deeply rooted in my life, but I was still very nervous. I was having thoughts like, what influence would Hecate have on this conversation with my shadow self? I have never connected with a deity this deeply before, So I felt both excited and cautious. Would I uncover trauma buried so deeply I had forgotten it? Would it be painful? Would it be silly? What if nothing happened at all? Would that make me a failure? Would I disappoint Hecate or myself? Those doubts were real and frightening, especially for someone like me with a history of abandonment trauma. Still, I pushed through and waited for the message. After what felt like hours, though it was probably only a few minutes, I received a single image. It was a picture of myself at about 5 years old. My white blonde curls were growing out of a terrible bowl cut. I was crouched with my hands on my knees, my little butt hovering just above the ground. Around my neck was a red bandana for reasons I don't know, and next to me was Fargo, the fawn we had just rescued. I lay there staring at that image, completely struck by my own beauty and sincere, unbridled joy. After a few minutes of feeling overwhelming love for that little girl, it suddenly hit me that the child I was looking at was me. Not just a photograph of me, but me. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else, but I think I've always seen that little girl as a separate person, more like a sister than a younger version of myself. And when that realization landed, something shifted. I felt a merging of identities happen. I was no longer adult me and little me. I was simply me. I realized that the beauty and joy I saw in that image were still a part of me and always had been. I just spent so many years believing that part of myself was inaccessible, listening to the outside world about how I should act, who I should be, what my faith should look like. Over time, that bright light I carried as a child had been buried. The fire within me had been smothered to quiet embers, barely visible but still burning, simply waiting for me to remember. I began crying, tears of both joy and sadness. I thanked my shadow self for showing me that image, then followed the visualization again to return from the meditation. Once fully out, I thanked Hecate and closed the ritual. For a long time afterward, I lay on my side in bed, replaying the experience over and over. The feelings of peace and joy lingered long after the ritual ended. What I learned from that meditation was threefold, which feels fitting because three is such a powerful number associated with Hecate. First, my path with Hecate is growing stronger every day. Through my devotion to her, my craft is deepening in ways I never expected. I've experienced moments that feel nothing short of miraculous, and I regularly notice signs that she's walking beside me throughout my days. It feels as though the moment I truly open myself to her, my path and calling begin revealing themselves more clearly. Second, your choice of herbs matter, but not just because each herb has a traditional use. There's a relationship between the plants we work with and the outcome of our rituals. If I had used the original recipe with poppy seed, the experience likely would have been more dreamlike, unfolding through symbolism or story. But I didn't have poppy on hand, so I used wormwood instead. Wormwood shifted the entire experience. Instead of wandering through a dream narrative, I received one clear image and a direct realization. And honestly, that's exactly how I approach healing. I am someone who wants to get straight to the root of the truth. So in that moment, Wormwood was exactly the teacher I needed. And third, perhaps most importantly, I realized that I still have so much more to discover about myself. For the first time in a long time, I feel excited to dive deeper rather than afraid of what I might find. I'm beginning to take steps to nurture the integration of my younger self with my adult self. I don't yet know exactly what that will look like, but I'm eager to explore it. I'm ready to uncover truth in all its forms because I now understand that darkness isn't something to fear when I have her torches to guide me. I hope today's episode resonated with you. If it did, you're welcome to share it with someone who might need this conversation. If it stirred questions, reflections, or even disagreement, you're welcome to join the conversation or suggest future topics on Instagram or YouTube at Salt and Sovereignty, or through email saltandsovereignty@gmail.com. Until next time, honor the truth that keeps you sovereign.